Hi, Gains Gurus, and welcome to TMGP, the Muscle Growth Podcast, Episode 1. I am your host, Roscoe, and today we are welcoming Coach Benjamin Yeezus onto the show. Coach Benjamin is a professional lifestyle coach, bodybuilder, and a Level 5 certified nutritionist from Glasgow in the United Kingdom. Benjamin overcame bullying in his younger years to become a top international bodybuilder and a fitness coach. Ben now helps people from all walks of life who share a common goal of being healthy. Let's jump right into the questions, where I start off asking him about snacks in his diet. Just getting some extra calories in, or is it part of the diet? Is it extra?
Yeah, well, I'd cut back on my calories for a few days because I wasn't too sure with the injury, kind of how long I'd be out for. So,
Okay.
I was eating relatively low, just carbohydrates, breakfast with protein, carbohydrates in another meal, and then carbohydrates with my dinner at night. So probably, maybe 150 grams of carbohydrates, probably about 250 grams of protein, there or thereabouts.
Okay. Is that kind of where you'd be during a prep, or is it much higher during a prep, would you say?
At the moment, I've been doing about 3,500 calories, about 250 protein, 350 grams of carbs, and the rest made up from fats. If I'm down on carbohydrates, I'll top up with some extra like dark chocolate or some peanut butter in my last meal or something like that. I do kind of eat similar most days. I personally find that it's so much easier. There's no decision fatigue and stuff like that, so it's really really beneficial for me. My girlfriend, she cooks dinner, so I saw a great tweet on this actually, and it was like, cook one, keep one. So she makes me an extra portion at night time, and that'll become my meal too for the next day. And every day at the moment I'm having oats and whey protein, peanut butter and jam, because I've got some calories. So I'm getting my 80%, and then my 20%, kind of flux through things like jam, a little bit of Haribo or gummies or something like that. But most of it is, chicken and rice, potatoes and lean mince and that sort of good stuff.
So you'd say about 80% is the good, the healthy things, and then 20% is kind of to live life fullest.
Yeah, I'm even including, like dark chocolate in that. Although some days if I want maybe like a single finger bit of chocolate, like a twirl, I'll swap my dark chocolate out and I'll have my twirl maybe during the day if I've been on calls or whatever, and the sort of notion takes me at just 100 calories is the way I see it. I'm covering my bases with everything else is good. 100 calories from chocolate doesn't really touch the sides, and I'll replace it.
Your macros.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like 80% of the good stuff, and if there's a little slush. Some days will be more than others, some days will be less than others, but it all balances out for me personally. I don't really have any massive issues with the only thing I do is the Cadbury's. It's called popping candy. I can't be near that.
Yeah.
And Nutella, actually. Nutella. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of people there. It's really nice.
Yeah. The jar's gone in probably about 48 hours, so I just don't have any in the house, to be honest. I just don't buy it.
You got to keep it away, otherwise it's too tempting, I guess.
I did try Biscoff once, and it was the same.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very good.
Well,
too good.
Too good.
Yeah, if it's too good, they just don't buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you got to. I've got a similar thing with my girlfriend at the moment, where I used to have lots and lots of sweets that I'd accrued over a long time, mostly from my mom or someone else had given them to me, and I just kept them all in a big drawer in the kitchen. But it was just too tempting for my girlfriend, so she made me get rid of all of it, because if it's there, I don't need it. But she couldn't help herself, so it's just easier to take away the temptation.
One of the things I've always got in the forefront is if I've got room to eat, I should be eating my protein, and that's
absolutely
where I try and take it.
Absolutely.
Obviously we've just kind of come off the call, and that's what the Noah was saying. Front loads of protein. So if I've got room 100%. To eat, then it's cover your bases, make sure you're moving towards your goals. And anything else on top of that is a bonus, so to speak, especially in a kind of improvement season. We don't need to live like I don't know what the term would be. Maybe, yeah, exactly. No, we are a little bit human, so I don't think it lessens. Yeah, I don't think it lessens anything, and I'm talking there within, confines. We'll probably get on to it later on, but I have a takeaway once per week. I even done that when I was on the way to my competition. One of the things I was really keen to do was to show you can kind of follow, and you don't need to cut out any food groups. And I know that you're quite strong in that as well, Roscoe.
Absolutely.
You don't need to avoid pretty much any food groups, and you can still create, condition and size, but you have got to be covering your bases most of the time.
I totally agree with you there. So two comments I'm interested in. What is your favorite cheat meal what's your go-to, or what is it alternate between?
See, this is interesting, right? Because I don't believe in cheat meals.
Oh, sorry. So what is your, I'm not sure what to call it then.
Just a meal of choice. So
yes, your meal of choice, yes.
Curry every single Friday, without fail.
Curry. Okay.
I have a chicken curry with boiled rice. I have maybe 4 or 5 chips and a couple of prawn crackers with it. And I'm good with that. I look forward to it all week. I enjoy my food all week. I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
I'm having pasta, I'm having spaghetti, I'm having anything that I kind of choose.
Is the spaghetti, is it special? Is it no, just regular spaghetti? Okay, not protein or gluten-free, just regular spaghetti.
Just regular spaghetti with maybe like 3 to 5% lean mince, done as a kind of tomato sauce with maybe some chili powder and stuff like that added. I'm not allowed to do the cooking in the house because I make too much mess. So I basically just do I help with the cleaning up.
That's fair enough.
I don't know specifically what's in it, but it tastes good nonetheless.
That's all that matters, and it's healthy, and you're getting your macros. And what else, like during the day, would you eat to comprise those 3,500 calories?
So at the moment, it's a good kind of example. I'm having meal one pretty much predominantly during the week is oats and whey, with some peanut butter. If I've got the extra calories, which I do at the moment, there's some jam in there. So again, just sort of enjoying a little bit. My meal two will be last night's dinner. So for example, last night I had spaghetti bolognese. I had that for meal 2 today. Meal 3, if it's a training day, I'm probably going to have maybe like a bowl of cereal. And what I'll do is I'll make a protein shake, and I put the protein shake into the cereal. So that's kind of like my milk. I do use milk with that particular protein shake, and I'll maybe have some Haribo kind of before the gym. I have some cyclic dextrin as an intra workout, and then when I come out of training, I have my dinner. So that could be anything from chicken and rice with veggies. It could be chicken and pasta. It could be spaghetti bolognese, as we've mentioned. It could be bolognese with pasta. There's a baked potato. So there's loads of different things there. If I'm having baked potato, there'll be a little bit of cheese in it, some onion, and again, a kind of protein sauce at the side, whether that be chicken or mince. And then before I go to bed, I'm having some fat-free yogurt. I put some whey protein in that, some peanut butter, blueberries, and some honey. And that probably takes me close to 3,500.
Okay, wow. So is that over, did you say about 4 to 5 meals a day on average?
Yeah, my meals
taste as well.
Yeah, so I've got a Cocker Spaniel. She's asleep here on the couch. I never need to wear a watch. I can set my watch by the dog. She wakes up at 6:30 every morning.
Okay.
And even before I had her, when I sort of come into the sort of bodybuilding space, when you're doing your fasted cardio, not for any other purpose than that I like doing my cardio in the morning. I like doing my training at night. I find that's a good split for me. You can do your cardio at any time that you please, but I choose to do mine fasted when I'm doing my competition prep. But she's up at 6:30, so we'll have breakfast then, and then I just split it out, maybe 3 to 4 hours throughout the day.
Okay. And the Haribos, those are sweets, right? And is that
Yeah,
control? Is that to control an insulin spike and for the workers?
just
What is it for?
one of the things I struggle with is getting food in. So
Okay.
it's just a quick way of getting in some carbohydrates before the gym. When I'm coming into a dieting phase, they're like the first things to go out. So the Haribo, the
Right.
gummies, the jam, they all go out. All the nice to haves, the 20% stuff
Yes,
is the
yeah.
first to go out. You're still then having all of your food. You're still touching all of your micronutrient bases with your veggies, your different food groups, obviously your protein sources. So yeah, it's more along that lines for me.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Shall we hop into some of the questions?
Absolutely.
You got your answers prepared. They're not too deep. I'm sure you don't even need to prepare for most of them. Or actually, before we hop into them, do you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What got you into bodybuilding? I saw you've got a really cool story, and I'd love for you to share it.
Yeah, my own story of becoming a coach started one night at would you call it soccer, Roscoe, or football?
Yes, soccer. Yes.
Soccer,
We call it
yeah.
soccer here. But then again, it's very interesting. Sorry, it's really side topic here, but we call it soccer, but the clubs aren't called soccer clubs. They're called, for example, my local one is called Marty's Football Club.
Right.
We call it soccer. You don't say you're going to play football. So I don't understand what the reasoning is for that. But anyway, sorry.
Even some of the rugby clubs are called football clubs. So yeah, it doesn't really make any harder for us sense. But yeah, I had a conversation with a gent one night at a football game. I had been competitive bodybuilding myself for a little time. I have a very curious mind, coming from a project engineer, project management background. So I like to know how things work. I like to understand. So that piqued my interest. I should mention at this point, I had a coach as well. Here in the UK, Jordan Peters, trained by JP. I was coached by Jordan for 6 years. Loved every minute of it. Very, very thankful for the opportunity to work with him. One of the best guys in the industry. And I just sort of got an interest of learning about what works for people. One of the things I found that in the health and fitness industry is there's a lot of barriers for people. Some people think that it's so hard that they could never achieve. I mean, I won't lie. I didn't think I would achieve even 10% of some of the things that I've managed to do in terms of some of the things that I've managed to work towards, the goals, that long-term vision that we'd mentioned. And it just all came from a conversation. A particular gent said to me, I've tried every diet under the sun. I can't lose weight. And I was like, okay. I was going on holiday the next day. I said to him to do a food diary for me. He'd done a food diary. I said, I won't judge. There's no judgment here. Just tell me what it is. Long story short, we gave him a nutrition plan that he could follow. We worked it around the foods that he enjoyed. And he dropped almost 5 stone. I think it was 4.5 stone. But he also had a medical condition called non-fatty acid liver disease. He had that for 18 years. Within 12 weeks of working with him, he got a letter from the doctor to say that he didn't need to go for any more blood tests.
Wow.
His condition had gone away.
That's a beautiful story. Wow. And that was your first
That was my
client.
first client.
Wow.
So the feeling from that,
was accepted.
when I say I'm onto something, as in, I can really make a difference here. I feel that I can bring something to the table. I can break down these barriers. Absolutely. The man was in his 40s, in his late 40s at that point in time. And very interestingly, he's still a client of mine to this very day.
Oh, wow.
Since the very start. So
how long is that?
That's about nearly six years, just going on 7 years, between 6 and 7 years.
Wow.
I've been actively coaching.
Phenomenal.
I've been bodybuilding myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, on you go, Roscoe.
Oh, sorry. Is he doing it competitively or just for himself?
Just lifestyle,
Okay.
The kind of gent that goes to work, he wants to enjoy having a beer on a Friday night when he's worked hard.
Yes.
And a takeaway.
He deserves it.
Absolutely. And having the support and the accountability, keeps him on that track of the new life that he's obviously, created. he's fit, he's healthy, all that sort of good stuff. You know, it's just a journey. It's gone from being a journey now to it's his lifestyle. That's just what he does.
Good.
So it's great to see.
Yes, yeah. If you want, I'd love to show anyone who's listening, or like I saw you posted a lot of transformation. So if you want to show me, or if we want to do it later, feel free to like send some of the example pictures of some of your clients and their transformations. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely.
You mentioned you were briefly touching on some of your own achievements in bodybuilding. Would you like to elaborate some more on those?
I mean, one of the things, ironically, I found the picture the other day of the first time I ever saw my own six-pack, which was a really big thing for me, kind of growing up. I don't know if you'll be familiar with Men's Health. I don't know how old I'm now making myself, but Men's Health was like one of the top magazines in the sort of UK and US, to be fair. They didn't give out accurate information, let's just put it that way.
They still don't. Sorry, just on the Men's Health, I don't want you to forget what you're going to say, but my dad he used to always get the Men's Health, and I used to look at these guys and just look at some of the things, and back then I was young, so I didn't know better. I think a lot of people just don't know better, and I think Men's Health is creating, they do have good stuff, don't get me wrong, but there's so much nonsense that they are putting out, and it's really sad to see. So please carry on about the
you're absolutely right. You know, I've fallen for every trick that the industry has to offer. Don't spike your blood sugar. You can do this in 6 weeks. This could be you.
Oh no.
And again, it's another reason
to shredded.
And it's another reason that I got into the industry myself, was to try and push back against some of these.
Cut through it.
Yeah, you know, just tell people like this is how it is. You know, basic things like a caloric deficit. How you get there doesn't matter. If you choose to go keto, if you choose to go carnivore, I'm happy for whatever method you choose to get there. But none of them are superior to the other. They're all just
calories in, calories out, the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like choosing the type of car that you want to take to get you to a destination. But they're all Ford. It's not like one's a Ferrari and one's a Ford Fiesta. There's nothing wrong with
that's
not
like a car.
There's nothing. I'm not trying to be like kind of against. But I'm just saying it's just a vehicle. It doesn't go any faster.
Mine's not the Ferrari. Mine is the Ford Fiesta, the second one.
I don't have a Ferrari either, to be fair. But it's
your body's a Ferrari. Better than a Ferrari, I think.
I mean, it's one of those things, you know, when you just stack up consistency across time. Again, as I was mentioning, that picture, I remember the picture being taken when I saw my abs for the first time.
Yeah.
That was like a 10, 15-year goal for me.
Wow.
And then it was like,
how long?
At that point, I think that was around 6 to 9 months into my journey, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I've always been relatively lean. The struggle for me has been to get the size on that we touched on when we were talking earlier, you know, about the amount of food that it actually takes to grow, especially for me.
Length of time.
Yeah, and it's like two years at a time of setting that goal in the future to say, okay, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know at what point I'm going to stop in terms of, you know, what weight's going to be, for example. But I need that concerted effort of pushing up to come back in and see how much muscle you put on. It's almost like the reveal, but it takes 2 years to do the reveal. And that's kind of always been my approach. I've done that now, I think 3 or 4 times. At my latest, I was 143 pounds, and I sit today around about 222.
Okay. Wow. So that's like 80-pound difference, and most will probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just because I'm into my 40s now, I'm trying not to carry as much body fat, but I'm trying to see. I'm at a slight advantage. I mean, I'm not the biggest in the planet. I've got a lot of weaknesses. I always put that out there. I'm just looking to improve as much as the next person in my own physique. And that's what I say to people as well. There'll be people out there who are bigger, who are leaner, who are stronger. I see that as being inspirational. But the only thing that I can do is be the best me, because I can only give it everything I've got. And that's why I take inspiration from people who do have their journey. And if their journey takes them to a better place, that's fantastic. I'm happy for them, because one of the things we need to be aware of is we can only be as good as we are. As long as we're giving it everything, we can go to bed at night and say, exactly that.
Completely understand. And it's really cool that you take inspiration from others rather than want to put other people down, and you actually use it to fuel your own fire. That's a really good mindset.
Yeah, I mean, like, nobody's not putting work in. No, that's the great thing about a physique. Obviously, all physiques are different. You can't take away anybody's hard work. If they've worked hard for something, and that's the best that they can do with the resources that they've got and the time that they've got or whatever, if they've given it their all, but kudos. We spoke to a man earlier, in his 60s.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard not to be
inspirational.
Yeah.
No, 100%. No, he's done so well, and he's definitely, I see him definitely getting to 15%. So that was a six-year-old guy who was 25%, and he decided to change his life around and do the dieting, do the training, and he's now at 21%, I think is what he was, and he wants to be about 15%. And I totally believe that he's going to get there, as long as he doesn't burn out. I could see that he is very excited to drop quickly, and he needs to just understand that it's the tortoise versus the rabbit, and he needs to just I understand he is older, but he needs to also understand that, and I think you gave him good perspective on the really older bodybuilders in their 90s, even 80s, 90s. I think that really lit up a big spark for him, and it actually did flip a switch, because he was very rushed to get. He's like, oh my word, I'm almost 70. And you also mentioned, well, what about the other people that are 70 that haven't flipped the switch? You're going to be 4 years ahead of them. So think about it like that. And I think that was really a good mentality to have.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of what I was trying to do there. There was a little bit of regret maybe coming out there that he hadn't. And do you know what? To be honest, when I'm saying that, I have that regret. I was 34 when I started.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was 34. So, wow. It was like, my only regret, I wish I started at 21, that's 18, at whatever.
That's honest. It's so interesting to hear that, because now I'm going to sound ridiculous. So I'm 24, and I regret that I didn't start at the age of 10. I regret, so I played pretty decent tennis and squash and all those other sports. I went to the gym, but I just did the cables, and I just did what I thought was easy. I didn't want to embarrass myself. I was similar to you in the fact that I was the skinny kid, got bullied and all those things for being skinny, not playing rugby, not doing the big boy sports. And so in the
getting called small.
Exactly. And
here in Scotland, we've got the term wee, which is small. Like a lot of people know the wee. So I was wee, and it was like, I don't want to be called wee anymore. Yeah, watch you don't fall down the stank. Feed time at McDonald's. You know, and enough people telling you this kind of stuff. It sticks. And we were talking. You mentioned actually, Roscoe, about dysmorphia.
Yes,
mine has gone from
bad to worse.
I still think and believe that I'm that 143. I don't automatically instantly go to being there.
220. Yeah.
And that's the only time I get jealous, is when somebody tells me they're 24.
Yes, so I'm hoping to make this a long journey, and to take it day by day. But even I started at the age of 19, not bodybuilding anything, but kind of a mixture of what I call power building, where it's a bit of a mixture between bodybuilding and powerlifting. It's basically for the guys that aren't big enough to bodybuild and the guys that aren't strong enough to powerlift. So it's a nice little intermediary there. And I also think that for longevity's sake, it's what I want to do. But the reason that I got into it was actually because I really severely injured my back. Actually in the gym, doing squats, going ATG, but my body type is not. I'm a tall dude. I'm 6'2", and my legs are like, it's just not for me. I'd have a lot of butt wink, but our strength and conditioning coach, I was playing for the varsity first team tennis. He insisted we have to go all the way down till our butts touch the floor. My body, I did it, but it severely, my C3, C4 vertebra, I can't remember the exact diagnosis, but it was bad. I was in my bed for 2 weeks. I lost 10 kilograms of muscle, which I didn't have to lose at that stage. I went from 80 kilos down to 70, and I atrophied terribly. And after that, then COVID hit, and I wasn't allowed to play tennis. It was banned. And so the only thing that was open was the gym. So that was kind of my story into getting to the lifting. And you mentioned something really interesting about the barriers to lifting, to improving one's physique and all of that. And that's actually exactly the whole philosophy, like in a nutshell, for the gains gurus and for this hypertrophy research project that I've embarked on, is that I want to make so-called all-inclusive. I know it's a big thing to say all-inclusive, but as much inclusive as we can, science-based, evidence-based thing to give away for free. That is kind of the idea. There's lots of similar things, but they're all behind a paywall. They're all and a lot of them aren't all inclusive. It's like, okay, here's your diet, and I understand that, and I still think it would be best to get a coach, but these are for the people that can't afford a coach, don't want a coach, and want all the science in kind of one place where it's easily digestible for them. And that's kind of the idea behind it.
Yeah, I know, it makes sense, and it's really good to be on board as well. There's already been some really good discussions with the group. One of the things I really enjoy is having those different views. I don't just watch and listen and ingest bodybuilding myself. I like to watch, like, for example, CrossFit on Netflix. I've watched all of the CrossFit stuff. I like listening to, there's some podcasts out there. It used to be CrossFit. It's called Barbell Shrug, but it's now called something else now. They've really grown in popularity over the last few years, but they've stepped away just from being solely CrossFit. I think they do more like functional kind of stuff, but they've got a lot of good guests on the podcast. So I'm always trying to not just keep yourself in one lane. As much as I enjoy all of that stuff, I like having that sort of plethora where you can maybe enter into a conversation or at least listen to something and say, all right, I understand what somebody's talking about, or you can even offer something.
Absolutely. No, and that's really cool that you're into other things other than just bodybuilding. And I think some people do get a bit too sucked into one kind of sphere, and then they become quite one-dimensional. And if they like that, then that's awesome. But it is nice to get different perspectives and to be multi-dimensional.
It's one of the reasons I entered the nutrition space rather than personal training, for example. I am a certified nutritionist. I'm MNU certified, so I work with powerlifting clients. One of my powerlifting clients was a lady almost 60. She lost 16 kilos and became a 2 times IPF world champion.
Wow. No way! Congrats. That's amazing. I saw you level 5 nutritionist. What does level 5 mean? That's
basically a kind of degree level. Here in the UK, MNU have just been accepted by the government to meet the framework for level 5. So it's the equivalent of a degree.
Wow. That's phenomenal. I would love to hear more about this IPF world champion. Is that in a particular age group?
Yeah, so the category was M2, and that was it was the full lift. So it was squat, deadlift, and bench. But also she was a bench champion in her own right.
Wow. What was her what was her bench?
107.5, I think was the max at 62 kilos body weight.
Wow, that's incredible. That's almost a 2x multiplier. That's
132.5, I think it was deadlift.
Okay, 132.
Yeah, 132.5 in the deadlift. So it was like 2x, a little over 2x. I don't remember offhand, but it was north of 100 kilos. It was certainly north of 100 kilos.
And that was at the age of how?
She was 60, 62, somewhere in that region.
Yeah, that you should have mentioned that to Rodney. Told him, listen, like check this.
There's so many things just going through your head at some point. I mean, one of my clients last year qualified for the natural Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas.
Wow.
He qualified for the Worlds and the Europeans, so he was 5th in the world and 9th at the Mr. Olympia and his first sort of outing at that level. So I was saying earlier about 2-year goals. So he's on a 2-year goal now to let's go again and see how we go in 2 years.
Wow, these are some top athletes in the world that you've got. That's
very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
And they,
yes, they are based in and around kind of Glasgow. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I do have clients all over the world though. I've got clients in like Boston, clients in Maine, Dubai, Finland.
So are they mostly for nutrition, or are they mostly for everything, all inclusive? What is your?
I don't do the powerlifting training. I'll be honest, I don't program the powerlifting. I do program training as well as nutrition. So like obviously being a competitive, bodybuilder, men's physique athlete myself, I understand a little bit about, hypertrophy and stuff like that. And but yeah, I've obviously got the nutrition kind of unlock. Just having things like advanced muscle gain as particular modules within. I even work with clients who have PCOS, for example, type 1 diabetes, type 2. So in the nutrition space, I've got a plethora of lifestyle clients, clients who compete, men's physique, clients who want to do photo shoots, all the way up to, kind of national, world level champions as well.
Which champions and in what category?
So that was the IPF M2, and Jonathan he won his regional show and he placed 5th in the worlds and then 9th at the Mr. Olympia. Men's bodybuilding tall.
Oh wow. Okay, so
I'll send you through one of his pictures. I'll put you through one of his pictures.
Please do. We've got a lot of questions. I know it's now getting late. So should we run through them as possible? Okay.
Yeah.
What is the 100 Club? I'm sorry for my ignorance, but I saw it all over Twitter and I've never heard of that before.
It's a gent called Dookie Butter.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's his handle on Instagram. I don't think it's very nice if you look a bit deeper into that. So maybe don't look a bit deeper into the name.
Okay.
I don't think it's complimentary at all. But that's the name he's given himself. It's literally just people, kind of almost like a community. You can join if you send them a message. I can put you in touch with them, and you can get in and get part of the club. It's just people being positive. And the messages of support. If you see somebody hitting a PB, done. Just a nice environment. Building everybody up the way it should be. The more positivity, the better.
I love that kind of environment. That sounds really cool. So it's not hitting 100 kilogram bench or something like that. I thought it was something.
Yeah, I thought that used to be
related.
The gym I'm a member of, that used to be the entry rule. You couldn't join unless you could bench 100. You couldn't get in unless you could bench 100 kilos. Well, they had special allowances for the women.
They're just like, the woman can come. I see. That's but I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, fair enough. Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I see it all over Twitter. So I really thought it was something else. So thanks for clarifying that. Sorry about the noob about that. And you haven't actually really spoken too much about what got you into the fitness originally. Like I've read about you, so I know, but if you could
just pretty much getting a hard time when I was very, very young. Quite badly bullied at school. Being the skinny one, Obviously you were an easy target. Affected me a lot, and also reading Men's Health held me back a fair bit. All changed when even then I made my own mistakes after that. I spent a few years trying to grow, and when I look back, and as we spoke about, I've made every mistake probably known to man in terms of fitness training. I was trying to grow on 1,500 calories, which we both know
difficult
happen. I was training 6 days, I was training 7 days, and then wondering why I wasn't getting any bigger, and then still eating the same amount of food. So it all changed for me when I got a coach, and that's one of the things that I do advise to people. Even before I was a coach myself, I used to say this to people:
get a coach,
invest. Whatever it is, invest in yourself. You'll learn more in the time. If it's 3 months, if it's 6 months, if it's whatever. I was with my coach for 6 years, and it was like the best experience ever. It was just I can't speak highly enough of it. That's exactly what it was, to be honest. That is exactly what it was, and that's what I said. Even before I was a coach, I used to say to people, get a coach. It takes away the worry. It takes away the analysis paralysis. It takes away the, am I bulking? Am I cutting? What is my goal? What is it that I want to do?
It takes away the decision fatigue, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and you got somebody. I was a project manager in my professional career for 10 years. And that's basically what a coach is. It's a project manager that will drive you to your destination, wherever you want to go.
And they'll help you get there and give you all their knowledge.
And they've made all the mistakes.
They've got the experience there already.
They've made all the mistakes. They've learned all the lessons. So it saves you time. Overall, it saves you time. It saves you money. It saves you effort. It saves you worry. And I'm not turning into a big advert. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be you and I. It's just the basics of get a coach, but get one who cares. Get one who's going to look after you. Get one who's going to bring you results.
That's a huge thing that you mentioned there. There are so many people in this world who just don't care. And I feel there's a lot of coaches that don't care. You're just a number. You just give them money and they give you cookie cutter programs, and it's really sad. And I think that you as a coach can mention that's very powerful, because there's lots of coaches, and I think what distinguishes the ones you want from other ones is do they care?
Yeah. I mean, it's really nice to get good feedback, to know that you are helping people and you're changing people's lives.
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, I mentioned with my first client that's like one of many. I've worked with clients, for example, who were suffering. So they were type 1 diabetics, suffering hypos on a daily basis, but they were stuck. They didn't know how to get themselves out of that. I'm not medicinal, so I don't touch how much the insulin they would take or anything like that. But what I can do is make their life better by getting them commit to being active, identifying a goal that we can then work towards, changing the nutrition, going down that 80-20 route.
Yes.
I see a lot of people arguing in the space about insulin resistance and metabolic adaptation and all this sort of good stuff. I have yet to come across a client who's metabolically broken, and I've worked with over 1,000 people now in my time.
Wow.
When you've got
congratulations.
Thank you. When you've got people that are focused on their goals and you're helping them towards that, and they're making good decisions. I'll give you a good example. One of my clients today is 57 years of age, and he's looking to get a bit fitter. He's left it a bit like Rod, a little bit later in life, but he's realised he's had his moment where he wants to get better. So he's going on holiday next week, but he's going to take his protein with him. He's going to take his whey protein.
Good. Yeah. He's
already thinking ahead of what type of meals he can eat. So he's not going to take food with him, but when he's out there, he's going to try and choose
better meal.
That's got protein heavy, good protein sources. He's going to be on holiday, so if he wants to, he can have a little bit.
His diet.
He can have a little bit of that. He can have, if he wants to have a beer, if that's his thing, he can do that and enjoy it and come back. But what the point I'm making there is, he's already looking forward to what you can do whilst he's away. And this is where, for me, it becomes not just a diet, it becomes a lifestyle. And that's then, again, for me, what you want to do and what you want people to see it as, rather than just 8 weeks. I done an 8-week cut and I lost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well done. Yeah.
How did you
now do another 8 weeks?
How did you do it? And
another. Yeah.
Can you keep it off? That's where for me, that's where it is. It's not just weight loss is good, fat loss is good. I'm not decrying anyone's efforts. I never would.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Real marker is getting it off.
Something you can stick to.
Keeping it off.
Yeah.
Rather than
absolutely. Rebounding is a huge issue.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, 30 days you can't achieve.
Nonsense.
You can't. I would challenge anyone to do lifestyle change in 30 days. That's going to be.
No, it's not long enough. Not long enough.
You'll do a lot of fat loss perhaps in that time, but you might not do lifestyle change.
Yeah, I think you do a lot of muscle loss as well if you're doing drastic fat loss. That's
very true. That's very true.
So on that, what are some key nutrition tips that you give? You've mentioned the 80-20, you've mentioned a calorie deficit. What are some other key things that you'd put in your nutrition tips?
Top tips for me is just try and be mindful. Try and prioritize yourself, whereby, as I've used the example there of my 57-year-old client, that's a mindset change. He's now thinking a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead of what am I going to eat next week?
Absolutely.
So when you can put yourself into that space, plan ahead, that's it. So if you're out shopping, plan your week ahead. What does it look like? That doesn't mean that you can never ever go out again. You can not enjoy life.
Yeah, you got to enjoy it. You only get one, eh?
But if you're eating 35 meals, see if you eat 5 meals per day, you eat 35 meals a week. Wow. Let's say even 2 are out.
Yeah.
That's like 6%. Now, if I gave you a test, Roscoe, and you gave me the test sheet back and I said, congratulations, you got 94%, how would you celebrate? So one of the things I struggle with is when you say to people, your week was 94% good, positive, fantastic, whatever superlative you want to use. Only in fitness and nutrition space is 100% the ultimate. If it's not 100%, it's nothing.
It's not good.
And that's again where you're trying to. So that's my nutrition tip. It blends into a little bit of mindset as well. But pick your foods, be aware of what you're going to eat, and try and build up a plan similar to kind of what I do. I could tell you 3 weeks ago on Tuesday what I ate for my dinner, probably. And that works for me because I like to, I basically have the same, I have the same foods, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. So every Sunday's a Sunday roast. Monday will be, 2 nights in the week will be chicken and rice. 2 nights in the week will be mince and pasta, mince and spaghetti bolognese. I'm not missing out any food groups. I don't like fish particularly. There'll be people out there that will love fish. And that's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, have that in your diet, a great source of micronutrients, great source of macronutrients. I suppose that's my kind of tip, is like plan ahead, make it as good as you can, and live yourself a little bit of slush if you can. Some people won't be able to do that, and that's absolutely fine. The only problem is we can't cover every single nuance in the time that we've got. So,
no, absolutely. No, those are some great tips, and what you mentioned there about making sure the majority are good. I think that's something a lot of people get wrong, is they do Monday to Friday so well, and then the weekend they go and completely destroy it. But I saw like 5 out of 7 is not 94%. That is a big problem. Even so, because maybe they do well Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night they go out. That's not even Friday that you got right, and then Saturday you're hanging, it's not right, and Sunday. You've got a new week coming, so you need to, binge.
So one thing to be aware of, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is 43% of your week. And what I always say is, do with that information what you will, but just remember, calories count, even if you don't count them.
Even if
calories count. Calories count on a. They don't magically go away at 12 o'clock on Friday night.
and beers and things and cocktails have calories, surprisingly.
Yes. what I find is it's not always the calories from the alcohol. It generally keeps you out late. Then you start looking for the nearest maybe kebab shop or pizza shop or something like that. Yeah. And then that's Friday night. So you wake up Saturday, you're hungover.
Yeah.
You're either going to repeat the cycle on the Saturday with all the food. Then, as you say, the calorie deficit that you've tried to create, maybe by 300 calories, 400 calories, 500 calories, whatever per day, Monday to Thursday, you're only in a 2,000 calorie deficit, and you've probably already done that Friday into Saturday morning. So everything else now is just going to take you back up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, it's important to not mess up your weekends for sure. I saw, so you just use whey. You don't use any casein powder. What are your thoughts on casein?
Yeah. So there's two trains of thought. Casein, obviously, slow digesting, keeps you feeding, if you want, for want of a better term, overnight. One of the things I've read before in the past is if you're eating something like whey, so I'll have yogurt and whey before I'm going to sleep, you are then giving your gut a little bit of a chance to catch up, because obviously the whey's quick. The yogurt is a form of casein, obviously, so it's got slow properties.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't get too upset about that. She's going to attack me here, sorry. I don't get too upset about, if I have a shake before bed, even if it was a protein shake, I'd be happy with that. I wouldn't spend my night being worried that I was catabolic, for example, because I'm going to sleep, my body's going to downregulate, and I've had enough, as the science shows, as you know yourself, Roscoe, if you're getting enough protein across at least 4 feedings is optimal. And you're hitting your protein target, you're hitting your leucine targets, and you're triggering muscle protein synthesis.
Yes,
you're you're checking enough boxes there for me to worry. And again, this is another thing about the barriers and creating that nice, easy way to entry. Because when you start bringing in a lot of rules, those rules can weigh heavy on a lot of people. So if you say to somebody, you need to have a casein shake before you go to sleep, it's just another thing to kind of add in.
Yep. No, I totally agree. I myself actually do have a casein shake every night, because I actually do fasting. So I use that as a kind of way to mitigate the fast. I do 16 hours of fast and 8 hours of feeding window. You mentioned sleep. How important is sleep?
Super important.
And for your clients? Super important,
Probably, it's very, very hard to rate sleep, training and nutrition. It's I think the best way to talk about that is they're a trifecta that are inextricably linked. If your nutrition is on point, if your training is on point, and your sleep is on point, you're on the right path. There's not a lot more you can say. You want to try and have environments where it's going to be conducive to sleep, so that the room's not too warm. Maybe want to avoid some screen time, maybe a little bit of meditation before bed, or journaling, so that it takes things away from your mind. However you find yourself going to sleep is good. I'm very lucky. I don't struggle in getting to sleep. I never really have. I love my sleep, actually.
Hard in the day.
I love my sleep.
Do you nap as well? What is your sleep schedule?
I normally have I'm normally down sleeping for about probably 10:30, 11 ordinarily.
Okay.
And then awake for 6:30.
Okay, so that's 7.5 hours. 8 hours. Okay.
But about 7.5 to 8. I find.
Okay.
I find I'm okay there. Yeah.
And you mentioned you nap as well.
When I can. And when I can.
On the weekend, for example.
So for example, on a rest night, tonight, I haven't been as active this week because of my injury. I mean, my steps have gone down to like 2,000 steps per day, so I haven't really been that tired.
What your injury was?
When I go too deep, when I'm doing leg exercises, my SI joint gets really unhappy, and I've got like a wee nodule that appears in my back, and then if I rub it, it just flares up, and then I can't walk for like a few days. So I got a wee bit annoyed with it, and I rubbed it, and then it gave me pain for like 4 days. So It's a weird injury.
Sorry about
It's very strange.
You've said you've had it for a long time now. It's a chronic problem.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I've had to adapt my training around it. I've been to physio, I've been to chiropractor. At this point in time, most of the time, I've got it under control. I have 3 or 4 flare-ups across the last 4 or 5 years, which isn't too bad. But I've adapted my training around it.
I like the word adapting and adaptability. I think a lot of people are not adaptable and not flexible enough in the gym with their training, with their diet. And I think it's very important to be able to adapt.
I've got to lose. Yeah, I need to lose a little bit of ROM. So sometimes I won't hit the bottom. I'm maybe 2 or 3 inches from the bottom. But it's simply because if I do go to the bottom, that's when I injure myself. So one of those things is about knowing. Well, sometimes you get called out for it, but at the end of the day, I've got to then be like, I know my body, I know what it can take. Okay, it looks like I'm putting a lot of plates on, and it's taken away from my range of movement, but I know myself. And one of the things now is post-physique. So I've got the receipts of a pretty decent pair of legs. So I'm going to be like, okay, I'm all right now. Yeah.
I don't think too many people are going to call you out, but they can... they're going to call out anyone. People who like bringing other people down are not worth the energy to even bother with.
I just block now. If it's anything like that comes on my timeline on Twitter or X, it's one strike and out. It's just straight block.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Yeah. I don't even argue. There's no discussion anymore.
Not even worth
discussion.
Not even worth.
No. I'm never going to convince them.
Yeah, I know you're not. And the more you tell them something, the less likely they are to
it's almost like you get your the keto and carnivore and whatever, and as I've alluded to earlier, every diet works. It sticks to one principle, caloric deficit. I will never convince a keto person who's convinced that keto is superior and that's why they're able to do it. Vegan's the only thing I don't program. I don't program vegan because that's unfortunately one of the only, unless you do it right, and it takes a lot of programming to do a vegan diet correctly. It's one of the only ones that can leave you with nutrient deficiencies. At least the carnivore.
Need supplement.
Yeah. At least carnivore and keto and stuff like that. Very, very. They're not as difficult to enter into nutrient deficiencies. But I've found the reading that I've done. Now, people will argue that, and that's fine. There'll be people with more vegan experience, and it can absolutely be done, but you need to be very, very mindful, of
certain.
Of the different balances and the...
you need to tick a lot of boxes.
Yes. Your leucine content, your bioavailability.
Leucine.
All these sort of things.
Don't get that. No.
I've got to eat more.
With you there. For less.
Got to eat more calories to get the same amount of protein.
Yeah.
Which is hard for some people because they don't have that room.
Deficit if you're getting the more calories, then I completely agree. I think a large thing of the vegan is it's difficult to eat enough, and that's why people also lose. In terms of your injury, have you had any experience with peptides or BPC 157 or TB 500?
No, I don't have any experience in that.
You haven't. You haven't looked into it or anything for your injuries or anything.
I've seen it being mentioned. I've just never really sort of dived into it, to be fair.
Okay. It's definitely an aspect that I'm quite interested in. I would recommend looking at it at some stage, and it's actually saved some people from needing surgery. It is definitely something that is worth looking in, and something that I know a lot of people I know in the bodybuilding industry and powerlifting as well. They rave about it, and it's definitely food for thought. Definitely. I'd like to jump into some of your. I know I'm really sorry it's getting late now, and cut me off any time that you need to. But I would like to run into some of your training principles, if that's okay. You use. Yeah, sure.
No, you go. When you go, thank you.
Okay. How important would you say is the mind-muscle connection?
I do like a bit of mind-muscle. I think you do feel it. I have had training bouts where you are lifting with intent. It's maybe not the strongest and full control in terms of mind muscle, but yeah, I do personally. I do think it has a place. Rather than just moving a weight from A to B, I think that it should be, and you'll probably see as well with some of my videos, I am moving. My preferred tempo is 4:01. So I'm
Okay.
you know, for example, on the bicep curl, I'm pulling up to the top and I'm giving a nice 4 count on the way down, back up to the top with the explosion. So the force is obviously what generates the muscle fibers to work that little bit. So yeah, you've got that mind muscle connection mixed in with the right sort of level of control and the concentric and the eccentric. And for me, that's something I've found has worked over time.
So you say 1 second concentric, 4 second eccentric, and 0 second isometric.
Yes.
Okay.
There are times where I'll maybe
most of your exercises. Okay.
Yes. There are instances, for example, where if I'm doing maybe some squat work, or I don't barbell squat sadly because of injury, but if I'm doing maybe hack squat down, a nice little kind of pause at the bottom, just the briefest pause to take the 10 line away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even just that 1 count to bring you back up.
So on tension, actually, the next one is, do you use constant tension?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. So
I always try.
Okay. All right.
I always try.
And do you go till failure on your working sets?
Failure working sets. So failure for me is when I can't do another rep with good form.
Good form. Okay. Okay. So not necessarily full failure where you actually can't even move it, but failure to the point where you can't move it correctly.
Yeah. So if it was like a bicep curl, for example, the minute I start
forward breakdown.
Yeah, the minute you start to give too much
wiggle. Yeah. Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't dislike, and I get this from John Meadows, I don't dislike 25 to 30% body English when you're coming towards the end of a set. I'm a believer there of how do you get to the next level? Because every rep can't always look textbook. There needs to be a certain level where you cross over. Now, obviously, that crossover does come with a level. So if you're doing a Branch Warren bicep curl where it's coming from like back here, if you've ever seen Branch Warren bicep curl, but he gets away with it because he's a pro. He's got that type of genetics.
Sure.
Whereas us mere mortals, you know, we've got to be in control of the tension. We've got to be there with a bit of the mind muscle connection as well. So yeah, it's just a case of trying to get to that failure point, but without having too much other come in to compensate. But I think I'm okay with about 20-25%, and just in my experience.
Okay. Would you say on that mind muscle connection, do you squeeze the muscle? Is that part of it? Okay, so you physically think of squeezing the bicep for
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm putting focus into the muscle that I'm trying to work. Biceps a good one. So if it's like a preacher curl, the shoulders down, elbows locked in, and it's literally bicep moves.
Unilateral or bilateral?
I'm a big fan of unilateral work. I actually arrived at that by accident when I injured myself. I had to go back to the start with my leg training. And it's something I've left in now to this day in terms of maybe 2 to 3 exercises will be unilateral work.
Okay. How many exercises? Sorry, Carol.
And a workout, probably 6, maybe 7 at a push. Something around 12 working sets on average.
Okay, I like that. That's quite a low number of exercises, and I like that. I do 5 exercises a day myself. So I like that kind of range. What in terms of range of motion, do you like full ROM, partials? What is your?
I think that becomes very dependent on you as a person. Not everyone, as you know yourself, you don't have full ROM in the squat. It's range of motion where you can move. A lot of the people that I work, myself included, we're desk bound for a lot of the day. Yeah. So it's very hard. And you could say, you should be doing mobility work, you should be doing this. Yeah. Well, add the mobility work to the other work I need to do to that. And that might be to some an excuse, but I'm just gonna keep it real and just say that's the reality of it.
Yeah. Your thoughts on drop set?
They have their place at the end of perhaps a body part. So if you were doing push, let's say you were doing 2 chest exercises and some flies. On the flies, there might be a drop set on the flies just to finish the chest off.
Okay, as a finisher.
For a finisher / intensity, I think I prefer intensity amplifier.
Okay.
On the last working set of the body part, just to really, you'll feel good in the moment, good bit of work being done, a little bit of the pump.
Yes, feel the pump.
Be all and end all, but when you've done for example, if you do a triple drop set on your last tricep exercise, so you've done a tricep exercise, you come into your second one, and you just want to make sure that you've eked everything out in the session.
Sure. No, you're eking.
A wee drop set.
Yeah,
it could be a rep and a quarter set. It could be a drop set. It could be a muscle round, which are really good. The 6x4 set. It could be there's so many different ways that you could do it. Yeah, a cluster set. There's loads of ways to do it. But yeah, I think they've got their place. But what you need to be wary of is accumulating fatigue for the purpose of just accumulating fatigue.
Sure.
I think there's a wee place for them. They feel good. Yeah. Let's be honest. There's a wee bit of feel good factor in them. As long as they're not every single exercise, every single set, then I would say no.
Yeah, I really liked your training split. Do you mind telling people what your training split is?
So at the moment, I do legs, push, pull. I fluctuate between that and legs, push, pull, lower and upper.
Okay, but didn't you say something about going 3 days on, 1 day off as well?
That's correct. Yeah, so I'll train Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rest day, and train Thursday, Friday, and Saturday rest day. So it's 5/7, 10/14.
Okay. So 5/7. That's a really good. So 5 days a week you train and 2 days you take off. I also do 5 days on, 2 days off, and I found that I think 5 days is kind of the max you can do before overtraining. Like 6 days may be better, but definitely 7 is wrong.
A lot of people are finished. If you're training with intensity, and at the end of your kind of rep range, if you're pushing like constantly for one of the things I say is try and train as hard as you can so that you can only train 4 days. Because you'll get that beat up that you can only do. If you're really on that level of pushing your body to the limit, you need an extra day of rest.
For sure.
And there's no shame as well if that day turns into 2 days, especially if you're at a really good level. You'll need more rest than you will training days.
So that's another reason why I do 5 days, because I'm trying to do 5 exercises a day, which already isn't a lot. So then if I cut it to 4 days and I'm only doing 5 exercises, I don't feel like I'm doing enough exercises. And then I need to do 6, 7, 8 exercises a day. And then my gym session will get super long. But actually, this leads nicely into the next question. What's your rest interval between sets?
I'm doing probably between 2 and 3 minutes.
Okay, so quite nice and long intervals. Is that between warm-up sets as well, or just working sets?
My warm-up sets are not very, very big at all. So for example, if it's legs, I'm warming up with lying hamstring curls, for example. Let's say I'm doing 100 kgs, for example, lying hamstring curls. I'll do maybe 8 reps at 40, 6 reps at 60, 4 reps at 80. I have a rep at 100, and then I'll rest for 2 to 3 minutes when I feel that I can attack the set. For the reps that I've got.
When you feel ready, you're not timing with a stopwatch. It's when you feel ready.
When I feel, so if I've got the 100 to hit for say 10 reps, I'm going to sit off until I know I can get the 10 reps with good form. And then when I'm moving on to the next machine, it'll be leg extension in that particular session. So again, I'll do the same quick warm up, 1, 2, 3, 4. But those are like 8 reps, 4 reps, 2 reps, a rep, literally just getting some blood in. And then that's me, I'm warm for the session. There's no more feeder sets. All I'll do then is feel where I need to be at that particular day based on what my logbook will say. And then that's me, I'm in the session.
Okay. So you keep a log of every exercise in a textbook?
Paper logbook for me, pen and paper. Stay off my phone.
Do you review it weekly or?
Well, before I'm going into the session, either the night before or the day off, I'll take 5 minutes before the workout. I'll write out the workout, and I'm then starting to visualize. Generally the day before, because I like to spend a little bit of time saying it's almost like psyching yourself up. Can I get?
Yeah, I get you.
Not angry or aggressive, but certainly focused on
vision.
How it's going to feel. So I'm already. It sounds really kind of happy,
know what
but
you're doing.
I'm already visualizing success. I'm already imagining what it feels. Wow. You don't always get it.
Yeah.
To be honest, you don't always get it. Yeah. But you know, I find it quite good. I find that a good thing to do.
Yeah, well, that's a interesting. I haven't actually heard of that before, but then that visualization is definitely an interesting key. Cool. So we've literally got one more big question and then one bonus question that I'd like to ask you.
Perfect.
If you only had 10 exercises to maintain your muscle for the rest of your life, which exercise would you choose?
10 exercises. So chin-ups or pull-ups.
Okay. Yeah.
Some sort of dumbbell press, I would imagine. Dumbbells would be pretty decent.
Overhead press or
just a chest press.
Chest press. Okay.
Yeah, chest press with dumbbells. If you've got a bench, all the better.
You can have any piece of equipment that you want. These are just your 10 pairs. So
we've got squat,
chin-ups, pull-ups, and that we can make that one. Chest pressed on a bench.
Yeah.
So that a flat bench.
Yes.
Okay, flat
or
bench.
even I don't flat bench. I'll do 15, 30 degrees. Yeah, obviously
incline.
Yeah, very, very rarely flat. So if we've got the bench in there, if we're looking at
you got the bench. You got the bench.
A hack squat degree. Hack squat.
Yeah.
Something for the glutes. So some sort of kickback. Something that's going to.
Okay.
Yeah, something that's going to give you some glutes. Bulgarian split squats definitely be in there.
Yeah.
Because they're absolutely horrible.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. We've got the chins, so that kind of touches on the back. Again, you could probably stick one of the dumbbells on there. Lat pull down's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of chest supported rows, so like seal rows. Big fan of them.
Yeah.
Something for the triceps, so maybe like something to dip off of with body weight. Obviously, there's a lot of good things you can do. Yeah, dips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got 8. You've got 2 more.
Something for the calves.
Okay,
it's definitely something for the biceps. Although the chin-up might cover the bicep.
The chin-up's big on the biceps, sure.
Yeah, chin-up
okay.
Cover the bicep.
Let's do calves. The
calf and a hammer curl. Let's go with that.
A calf and a hammer. So what are you going to do for the calf?
Calf could be anything. Find a ledge. I'm just imagining here there's just a kind of blank room as opposed to a fully equipped gym. A ledge and a dumbbell.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Bit of left field.
Okay. And
thinking outside the box.
Sorry, and then the last one, you said a hammer curl.
Yeah, hammer curl for the biceps because you're going to have the chin-ups to touch most of the other. So the hammer will give you the muscle that makes the biceps look big.
Sure. I think you'd be pretty set. I thought you might have thrown a deadlift or something like that in, but
probably shows my lack of not liking deadlifts.
You don't like deadlifts. Okay. All right.
I think deadlifts are great if you're good at them, if you've got the propensity for them. My take on deadlifts, because I work mostly with Gen Pop, people sitting in their chairs a lot, and I know people will call that out and say, oh, well, it's not a bad lift or whatever. I'm not saying that it is. What I am saying is you need to be kind of good at it and well-versed at it and probably very well coached.
Yeah.
It's too much can go wrong.
Yes.
It's one of those things people load tons of weight on, even when you say to them not to.
Yeah.
And just that experience of being in and around the gym and watching people hobble away from deadlifts. So, yeah.
That's not good. Last question, and thank you so much for your time. It's been really amazing. And
great to chat.
Do it again. What music do you listen to in gym? Do you listen to music?
If it was like music of choice, I like sort of tech house, so quite dark,
dark.
all about the kind of all about the kind of the baseline. No build up, no.
Or just bass the whole time.
There's no drop. There's no build up. It's just dum dum dum.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of dark gym,
Yeah.
like that. Dark music. Yeah, it's good. I like that.
Okay.
Either that or 50 Cent.
50 Cent. Okay. Get some. Okay, brilliant.
Get Rich or Die Trying. His very first album, even to this day, there's probably not a better album to chain to. There you go.
Okay. No, phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for being a gains guru. And I look forward to more interactions in the future.
Speak to you soon. Cheers, Roscoe. Good to meet you.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, gains gurus. Thank you for listening and see you on the next episode of TMGP.